And welcome to another edition of Counter Strike. I am your host, RJ, and of course, we have to send a shout out to the rest of the CommunityTV1.com staff, including our executive director, Mr. Jesse Dortch. Thank you again for joining us. Now, I have been a critic, very vocal critic of Obamacare. I think that it was a gift for the insurance companies. I know that many portions of it were written by the insurance companies. I don't like major portions of the Obamacare Act, and it's mainly because I felt that the insurance companies should have been removed and that we should have what is called single payer health care, which means that, yeah, we pay our taxes, but then each one of us has a right to medical services. We don't need the insurance company to come in and pay for it because the government's got that covered, because we paid it through our taxes, through whatever amount that we were taxed for it. So the insurance companies would be moved out of the way. Now, of course, a lot of people aren't going to go for that. They'll say it's socialist and everything else, even though many of the countries that we support, including Israel, have this so-called single-payer system, and we send them several billions and billions and billions of dollars a year to subsidize their economy, even though we don't have that basic fundamental right of health care here in this country. But I digress. I will not go on about that. Obamacare is in place. The Affordable Health Care Act is in place, and we have to start looking at the best ways to use this. That's one thing that we need to start doing. If something does come along that we don't like, we need to take advantage of the good parts of it, and there are several good parts of the Affordable Care Act. Remember back in the day when you'd say, okay, I would leave this job and leave this area, but I have a job with benefits and I can't just pick up and leave because we need that health insurance coverage? Well, now you can. Obamacare makes that possible. It frees us up. Not as much as single payer, excuse me, not as much as single payer would have freed us up, but it does allow us the opportunity to leave whatever area we are in if we are unsatisfied, and we can take our health coverage with us. That is a very good thing. It also allows for pre-existing conditions. Many of us may have pre-existing conditions that will cause an insurance company to deny us health care coverage when we need it most, or even we may pay for years on an insurance policy and find out that, you know, the insurance company decides that no, we're not going to cover that because it was a pre-existing condition. And of course, by the time you get through fighting it and the insurance company says, okay, we'll pay, you're dead. So it's really of no use to you then. Now, we have several things that are happening with the Affordable Care Act. One of the big things is, Obama lied. Obama lied. He said that if you like your health insurance, you can keep it. President Obama, I guess, instead of coming out and fighting against that, he decided that he'd come out and try and fix it, which if he has not learned after all this time in office that he cannot fix things because the other side, meaning my side, is not going to let him forget it, yeah, that's too bad. It makes him not seem too bright, but okay. President Obama, in my humble opinion, did not lie. He told the truth when he said that if you have health insurance, that you can keep it. And you could have kept it if it met certain standards. Now, here's what happened, and this was a ploy of the insurance companies. After Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, got put in place, the insurance companies started sending out these letters saying that people were going to lose their insurance. Now, basically, Obamacare calls for certain standards in insurance policies. It means that if you had one of those insurance policies that were really no good and you had a high deductible, or it didn't really offer you coverage, but you just had it so that you could say you had insurance, that wasn't going to cut it anymore. And the insurance companies needed to make it better. So what the insurance companies did was wait until Obamacare got into place, and they said, okay, this doesn't meet those standards, so we're going to drop it. Now, all of this was done, in my opinion, purposely to make the president look bad. Now, the insurance companies did not have to drop you right away. They had until 2015 to make those policies more viable. So they could have allowed that insurance policy to go all the way to the end and then cut it. But instead of doing that, they decided to drop you right away, which again would make the president look as if he was lying. But for President Obama to come out and say this, I suppose would make him seem like he was whining. To me, it would have made him seem strong if he fought back against it. But again, I digressed. So the Affordability Care Act is something that is good for minorities. And I have to say that. Not that it's the best for the country, but it's something that is good for minorities. And why am I saying minorities? Because that's mostly who we are reaching right now with Community TV One. Now, if you have not had insurance for the past 3 months and you try and get insurance, chances are that you're going to be denied because you haven't had insurance for the last 3 months. Now, that was pre-Obama. Now you can get it. If you had a pre-existing condition and you tried to get insurance that would cover that pre-existing condition, let's say sickle cell anemia, the insurance companies could deny you because you had sickle cell anemia. At least they would give you insurance, they would charge you an exorbitant amount for that insurance, and then they would turn around and say, okay, we'll cover you, but when it came to that sickle cell anemia, not so much. So these are things that we had to watch out for before. Obamacare has fixed that, but instead of us reading that and learning it for ourselves, we fall into the hype. President Obama lied. He lied when he said that people could keep their insurance. President Obama didn't go out and write letters telling the insurance companies that they had to drop people from the insurance rolls because they didn't meet the standards. But of course, that didn't matter because instead of us reading for ourselves and learning for ourselves, we'd rather listen to sound bites. Now, as far as coverage, the coverage is more affordable. The coverage is more comprehensive. The coverage will now allow those who did not have insurance before to get insurance. I have many friends that did not have insurance. And the way that they would deal with medical emergencies, well, I'm sorry, not even medical emergencies, just a medical event, they would have to go to the emergency room. Can you imagine you have to wait until your toothache gets so bad that you have to go to the emergency room? Can you imagine you get a cut and you have to wait till there's not so many people in the insurance hall, or the insurance emergency room, excuse me, in the emergency room, so that you can go down there and get it taken care of? These are things that people would have to do before they got this insurance through Obamacare. Now we find out that many people are signing up for Obamacare. It is getting to be pretty popular. I think that it's going to be a success for what it is. The one drawback for it right now is that there doesn't seem to be enough young people signing up for Obamacare. That seems to be changing as young people start to learn more about it. And I remember being young and feeling I didn't need insurance, and it wasn't because I didn't want insurance, it was because I could not afford insurance. So now there are subsidies that will allow you to get insurance as a young person. Once our young kids get a hold of this and they start seeing what the benefits are of having insurance, I think that they'll start signing up for it. But here we are in a case where everything is not as it seems. And I'm saying that in a positive way for Obamacare. Obamacare is going to be a success. It is going to be a success because in America, whatever our laws are, whether we like them or not, we will make them successful. Slavery was a law. We did damn good with slavery. We made slavery really good. Prohibition, we worked it out. Jim Crow, we eventually worked it out. Separate but equal, we eventually worked it out. We eventually make things work in this country, and I think the same thing will happen with Obamacare. But here's the thing, we have to get educated on it. So over the next several segments, what we're going to do here at Community TV One is start to look at Obamacare, look at how it's going to affect our community, look at ways to go ahead and get coverage, including and I'm saying this without Jesse's okay, but I'm sure we'll be able to do it. We'll go through and watch someone sign up for Obamacare so that we will have a demonstration of it, and you'll see how easy and really simple it is to do. So we're going to start giving this information out because we feel that it is very important for our community. It is very important that we know what our rights are, what we have access to, and how it can help our community. Obamacare, while it's not the best, it's what we have, and it's something that we can work with. And of course, it is a lot better than what we had before, which is nothing, which meant that we had to take our kids to the emergency room if they were sick instead of to a doctor. So now we have something that we can work with. If you want to leave the area because you don't like your job, but you like your insurance, you want to go, you're free to go. Obamacare will free us up. It will save us money, and I know that it will save lives, and that is one thing I do appreciate. Thank you so much for joining us here on Counter Strike. We will see you next time. I'm RJ. Thanks for joining us.